Bookland, and this is my hashtag AYearathon finish / catch up on a series TBR. The Read-a-thon starts on Monday, May 5th, which is tomorrow, or tonight, I guess, and then it goes through Sunday, May 11th. This is the first of 2 read-a-thons I'll be doing this month, but we're just going to focus on this one for right now. The goal is to finish or catch up on a series of your choosing or whatever, and because I am focusing on my review books for the rest of the year, on finishing or catching up on my review book list, it's kind of a double thing there, I am going to be reading only review books. Now I have 5 books picked out, but if I read 3 of them, I will be completely happy with that. The first book that I chose was Meridian by Josin and McQuein. This is the second book in the Arclight duology. I believe there are just 2 of them. It was originally just 1 book, and then the author decided to write a second book for it. I was perfectly happy with the first book and how it ended. So I'm interested to see what this book is actually going to be about. I'm not really sure. I haven't read the synopsis because I usually don't, especially on a sequel. But the original book was about a sort of compound. It was dystopian, and there was always lights, including at night. There was bright beams that would surround the compound, and then there was sort of a gray area, which was like a no man's land, and then there was the dark, and in the dark lived the Fade. And they were really bad. You didn't want them coming into the compound, and anybody who was sent out there usually did not come back. And there was a girl who was rescued from the dark, and she has really no memory of before she got there, and the Fade are pretty much trying to get her back, and she doesn't understand why. And it was really good. I really enjoyed the first book, so I am excited to get to the second one. The next book I have on my TBR is Mila 2.0 Renegade by Debra Driza. I read the first book at the end of last year, and it made it to my favorites of 2013. I flew through that book, so I'm super excited to read the second one. The first book is about a girl who moves into a new town and a new house with her mother. The only thing that she can remember is that her father died in a fire that she was also in, and then she has no memory of before. And then she's involved in a truck accident with a new friend she's made, and her life pretty much changes from that point on. She discovers something about herself that she didn't know, and there's a whole bunch of secrets, and she has to run from people, and it was fantastic. I'm definitely excited to see how this trilogy continues. And then the third book that I definitely want to finish is Wanderers by Susan Kim and Laurence Klavan. This is the second book in the Wasteland trilogy, I believe is the trilogy, I'm not sure. The first book I actually wasn't the biggest fan of. I wasn't a fan of the world building, so I'm hoping the second book does a better job maybe of explaining that, or something. I like to give, at least the second book a chance. But it's a dystopian novel about, there's a city, and pretty much everybody, gets assigned jobs, and there was one guy who lived in a building and pretty much had control of all of the food rations and things like that were kept in this building that only he was able to get access to, and they have to bring him gas from old cars and things like that, and there's some fighting that ensues, and and people die at the age of 19, I believe it was, so people get married very young, and they have, kids very young, so yeah, it was an interesting book, so I would like to see where it's headed. I really hope it gets a little bit better than the first book. And then if I'm able to finish all 3 of those books, I am going to read the first and second book in the Sweetest Dark trilogy, I think is what it is also. First one is The Sweetest Dark, and the second is The Deepest Night, both by Shana Abe. So I did request them from my library. I'm hoping that they come in before the end of the week, and then I'll be able to read them in physical book form instead of having to read 5 books on my Kindle, because I know that's going to you know, wear me down, because I'm not the biggest fan of reading on my Kindle. I'd much rather have a physical book in hand. But these books, it's been so long since I requested these books. They came out well in, you know, last year, like the middle of last year, I think, was when the second book came out. So I definitely need to read these and finish them. I think the third book in the series comes out this year. I'm pretty sure it hasn't been released yet, but I'm not positive on that. But if it hasn't, then I'll be reading those two books and I'll be caught up on that trilogy. But yeah, that is all I have for my TBR for this week. I really hope I can get them finished, and I will be well on my way to finishing off my review list like I have planned by the end of the year. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you're reading, if you're going to be doing this read-a-thon also, if you've read any of the books that I will be reading and what you thought of them, and I will see you guys later. Bye!